Soul Garden.
Hello my archers, and welcome back to Soul Horoscopes Weekly Update. From my webcam to yours, I'm Christopher Witecki, your host to the universe. And this year I'm the co-host to the first annual Miss Lilith contest. This is a catwalk contest. If you don't know, actually we should say Ms. Lilith. She doesn't like being calling Miss. Lilith is an asteroid in your astrological chart that kind of shows and reveals a number of things about you, including where you might have pent-up rage, where you might have mama issues or girl issues or inner child issues. And it's all a great way and a therapeutic way for us to explore this cool part of our chart. So we are throwing our first annual Miss Lilith contest. May the Beth Lilith win. That's our slogan. And all you have to do to participate is look up what your Lilith is. You can come down to the office hours and find out, and we'll help you look it up and then dress up. This is a way to kind of be in your anti-self, very Halloween-y and fun, and all part of the new SG Neptune that we're developing, which is based on the heart and having fun first. So if you think this is sexist, men can enter this, absolutely, and I will be co-hosting with the Witch Doctor, who's a Sagittarius, Mimi Clark if you don't know, and I will be dressed as a native, reporting to the Witch Doctor, most likely shirtless. So there is no shame at Soul Garden, indeed. Well, Miss and Mr. Sagittarian, how you doing? We're going to wrap up some major lessons this week and start major lessons this week. In fact, this week kind of determines where you end up on December 21st, 2012, which is the end of the Mayan calendar and the beginning of year 2 on Earth, year 2 being, 26,000-year cycle. But that said, for you in a much smaller little moment, this is about graduating a 3-year transit where Sagittarius were attempting to find out where they belong in society. Where do you belong? And hopefully you learned where you belong. It's where your heart is. Your heart and their heart, that's when it's supposed to hook up. But where you belong, which is finding your title, finding your friends, finding your associates, this started in late 2009. And this week we will start the new transit, which is discovering your inner faith. A harder transit, but when it's done, you are bulletproof, which we'll talk about. Let's not even use the word bullet. So as we start off on the overlap Sunday, there's a Mother Earth Rule Day, so we are squatting, we are holding space. What you're holding space is for your titleship, your reputation, your mark in the world, what you want to do as far as your reputation. This includes friendships and whatnot. And this is the graduation of the Saturn in Libra transit, as I said earlier. One thing I do want to point out, Saturn at 1 degree Scorpio says that as you graduate one, you begin another. Saturn 1 degree says it is time to love yourself. And if you have fears coming up, if you have reservations, this is part of the next transit. And what you want to do is just love yourself, just love yourself, just love yourself. On Monday, it's the tested degree, the 29th degree, and the moon moves into Aquarius. Cloudy chance of mind games for the Sagittarians. 29 means that you've got to stay in that master shui where you're just staying in your passion of feeling where you belong and not dissuading from the path. There may be something that tempts you to go off path or to the back or whatever. This is the final graduation moment of 3 years of work. So just own it and see if the world stops you. Looking at the planets, the Pluto Libra generation is graduating their lifetime karma and starting new lifetime karma as of this line. Woohoo, I'm part of that generation. Oh my God, it was hard. Okay. Now we're back. So this is a day where you want to just hold the master shui and be proud of yourself. And notice that Saturn is now already 2 degrees, which means your inner faith and fears might start to be boiling up in a very passionate, emotional way. So a lot of undue fear may be coming up. It's all part of the program. Do not worry. Yeah, congratulations, Pluto Librans. Then on Tuesday, we're at 0 degrees. 0 means 0. We're in the no man's land between 2 states of awareness. Congratulations, we are over with Saturn in Libra for 30 years. And now we begin Saturn in Scorpio for the next 3 years. So it is that transitional shift. There'll be days when there'll be moments there'll be hours in the day where you are in the old you. There's hours a day when you're in the new year. It's back and forth, cloudy but okay. You're pretty much in your head is what I think, because the moon is highlighting your head. And the sun is teeter-tottering here on the border of these 2 states of awareness. So let's take a look at this new state of awareness that we're working on. We are working on the sun in Scorpio, which is I protect. This is the part of the soul that protects the soul. More importantly, this is the part of the soul that draws boundaries. Now, for Sagittarius, there's nothing they protect more, actually, than their relationship to God. Nothing more. And you may say, oh, everyone's like that. Watch all 12 horoscopes. Not true. For you, protection is that relationship to God. And this is probably that final straw that breaks the camel's back when it comes to Sagittarius is going back and forth between their beliefs. The tiebreaker is probably the relationship to God, universe, and that faith. So the first part of this consciousness basically is your subconsciousness. And this is the I sense. So you are very protective about your senses, very protective about your psychic senses. And in many cases, Sagittarius have protected them out of their own psychic awareness, where you've locked your own doors and disconnected yourself from higher self and therefore get no psychic awareness. I have my psychics on my side every second, all my guides, seriously. Now, the first part of this, the first 9 days of this year and the first until February or March, will be facing your fears and your weeds. These are your childhood issues that wrap themselves around your life, choking the life out of you instead of finding its own light. This is back to childhood stuff. This is, and because Saturn is here, this is back to childhood stuff. You will be removing, no matter what age you are, any remaining childhood weeds that you can see and become aware of in the next 3 years. And that kind of starts now. As you open up your senses, your intuition opens up, and then your higher faith, and that's kind of how this all goes. So when we come back, So we come back on Wednesday, the sun clicks into 1 degree, and now it is time to get started with the inner faith. You're basically monitoring on Wednesday how much you feel self-love on the higher realm. Do you feel like God's got your back or not? How do you feel? And if so, why or why not? That's really the question that we'll be texting everyone in the GA Healing Network and whatnot. Sunny and chatty is how I predict it, because I think you're going to kind of come out and start to feel good. And the moon is in the late stages of Aquarius, so you're going to be kind of messenger energy, putting yourself out there, wanting to communicate, with your peeps. Looking at the planets, there's nothing really to point out, but because the next day is really when the sun hits out on that, so I should really stop that slide. Then on Thursday, it's sunny, nesting, and resting for you, and things get rather emotional, and Thursday is a very important day. For when the moon rules a day, so our emotions are ruling us. As you know, emotions are the element of master shui, so on an emotional day, we can majorly fuck up. Pardon my French, I just did say that. Yeah, that just came out of me, wow. But yeah, we can majorly screw up, because when emotions take over, you can master shui some stuff, and you don't want to master shui stuff. Looking at the planets, though, the real issue is this. The sun is dead conjuncting Saturn on this day. So on this day, I love, which is the sun, is conjuncting Saturn, I decide. So I love and I decide. So what are you deciding? You're deciding what you love. You're deciding what you love about what? You're deciding what you love about inner faith. You're deciding what you love about you. And by the way, this is a once-a-year thing. The sun only conjuncts Saturn 1 day a year. So this is the new imprint of the new lesson. If you decide anything exaggerated on this day, you're going to start with an exaggerated lesson. So you really want to be genuine, honest, metastate on your consciousness and separate the states within you and separate the ones that are your intuition, your relationship to God. How tight are you to God universe on the inside? You know, if it was just you and God universe, how would you feel? So this is really what the day's about. Then on Friday you're really feeling it. Sunny and solid is the way I put it. Jupiter, your home planet, rules the day. That means it's great to be alive and you are feeling unlimited possibilities, as Jupiterians do say. So it is a day to explore your options. And on this day, you're going to start exploring your weeds. So this might be you exploring a dark Lilith, by the way, or a dark part of your Lilith. You have to ask Mimi, the Sag, and the witch doctor. She'll tell you what that means. But this is where you start to explore the weeds and shadows in yourself in a safe way. And Halloween's a great time to do it, actually. It's just coincidental. It doesn't always happen like this. So sunny and solid. Actually, every year you do explore your weeds, but not always with the seriousness of Saturn. Now, looking at the planets, there's nothing to report again on the planets. I just like making these maps. One thing I want to point out is the moon is on approach to Uranus. And what that means is somewhere in this 24-hour period between Friday and Saturday, your inner child is going to throw a temper tantrum. Let's take a closer look on Saturday. Saturday showers, chance of temper tantrums. That's because Uranus rules the day on Saturday, and a number of other things kind of build up. Basically, I think Saturday is the day where the universe unveils what this lesson is going to really look like. Remember, when the sun conjuncted Saturn, you made decisions about how you feel of your inner faith. Well, you're going to see immediate manifestation here of those things on between Friday night and Saturday. One of the things is Uranus rules the day. So just like any other Chapter 1 Uranus rule day, there is breakdown. In your case, you had inner faith about something and it was false, or you are eye to eye, face to face with the boogeyman in your sense, or you suddenly remember something horrible that happened to you in childhood. A lot of times people have past life memories or early child trauma that opens. It's common in this transit, just so you know. It's okay. It's time to deal with it. You have the strength to deal with it. that's not going to be a problem. Also adding some frustration is this tug of war between relationships, romantic relationships, and your ego. Mars in Sag is amping you up to be a warrior and get strong and push forward with what it is you want to do, what your ego agenda is, which is the shallow part of you, which is okay. We all have a shallow, this clothing is shallow. I could be naked. No, I have an ego, so I'm going to put on a shirt, except on Halloween. But the point is, the part of you is want to push ahead and be aggressive about your ego agenda, and then relationships and commitments and unions with others holding you back. This may seem like this is the problem in this day, and it is a problem, it needs resolution, but the real problem is inner faith in yourself. Because if this brings you down, where's your inner faith? All right? I'll tell you this, relationships you will not have an answer on for a while, until March probably. So you just got to relax on that one. Mars and Sag, yes, be strong now, the universe is saying yes. And then we come back to the moon crossing over Uranus, which is what I was saying. The inner child is struck, so it could very much be a love story that tests your faith. And you know, the moon crossing Uranus is that your inner child has got to rise up and respond differently. So there's a lesson that's separate from the inner faith, but added or triggering it. And then there's the inner faith where, hey, some weed, something tripped you up. Then on the overlap Sunday, it's cloudy and still sensitive. The moon in Aries keeps your inner child very active, very sensitive, I would say maybe even vulnerable. Mercury rules the day, so there will be breakthrough, I'm thinking, on this day. And so understanding of exactly where you have a core weed trauma issue that must be faced. And Venus now is at 0 degrees, so on Sunday we all have to give and receive from our higher self and from our inner resources. Basically everyone is offline, as Venus is offline for giving and receiving or trading. Once Venus goes into Libra, though, the good news is you'll immediately begin to see sprouts from your 3-year work at social reputation. So you're going to see immediately the last lesson blooming, which will certainly help us feel better when shift hits the fan with weeds and that sort of thing, right? I betcha. All right, my Sagittarians. I'm with you. We're with you. Mimi is with you. All the Sagittarius are with you. We're all with you. Start with your Lilith and come down and play with us in Halloween and start putting her on the table, and let's start working on those weeds together. And I will see you in 7 days more, Sagittarius. Good luck and live, love, be.
Having a hard time with love lasting long enough? How often is your first date your last date? Have you noticed that your relationships last no more than 2 days? They say love never lasts, but in your case, it doesn't even start. Your birthday is a secret soul security number. We know everything about you, how you love, how you lust, and how you like to be lusted by. In one video, you'll understand what you're looking for in love and what you offer. Secrets of Birthdays, now available at secretsofbirthdays.com.